Welcome to Power Project SARMageddon. Some of you might already be familiar with this series. For everyone else, in case you missed it, it was originally posted on Mark Bell's Power Project YouTube channel, but we've decided to go ahead and move everything over to this channel. So to catch you guys up to speed, we're going to replay every episode, and from here on out, every new episode can be seen here on this channel. Thank you and enjoy. A disclaimer and a warning to anybody that's about to watch this video. The views and opinions in this video are just that, views and opinions. Everything you see is going to be done for research and entertainment purposes only. I do not advise nor condone the use of anything you're about to see in this video. Everything is just for entertainment purposes only. Whatever you do with the information you get from this video is all up to you, but ultimately, don't be stupid. Okay, so one of the ways I'm going to measure to see if these supplements are actually going to do anything for me is actually checking my body fat percentage, my muscle percentage, I don't know exactly what it's called, and of course my body weight. And I wanted to get a DEXA scan, but because, you know, again, like with the blood work, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get, you know, anything from a doctor to order for you. So instead, I'm going to use an in-body scanner. Now, I don't know how accurate that is in comparison to a DEXA scan, but it is what I have access to, and it's something that I'm going to be able to easily come back and follow up to see if I've made any progress. I'm now going on a 12-hour fast, so again, it's something that's going to be super easy to replicate in a couple months from now. Cool. So I'm pretty excited with the results I just got back. I was talking to my friend in there, and something I hadn't even considered was visceral fat, and that's something that's actually might play a huge part in everything I'm taking, because some of these things are supposed to enhance and help grow things. We don't know what they're going to do to our insides. So visceral fat, that's the fat that's kind of around the intestines and all the important organs and stuff. So if that number changes drastically, that'll tell you how safe or unsafe these supplements are. But other than that, my body weight right now is at 181.4, which is what I expected. Body fat percentage is 13.7. But the let's see, where's the weight of my body fat is only 24 pounds right now. So according to the person that helped me, that's actually more important than body fat percentage sometimes. The great thing about all of this is my muscle analysis is actually higher than average of what like they see every single day. So that's kind of a positive bump for me right there. Another good thing is, yeah, everything else seems to be about normal. So other than body fat percentage, other than muscle fat percentage, everything else is about on par where it should be. So right now, it's safe to say that I'm fairly a healthy human right now. Again, this is another good marker. So in about 3.5 months, we'll see where all these numbers jump to, or if they decrease, like say body fat, or my muscle, obviously, hopefully it increases. And again, this is just another easy way to see if this stuff's actually working. Right now we're on our way to actually go eat, and one of the things that's going to help keep everything in check, I'm actually just going to follow the vertical diet, but seeing as how I haven't started anything yet, today is going to be kind of not an entire cheat day, but I'm definitely going to eat up today. So the volcano was totally eaten, and I feel pretty terrible. So that's, I'm excited that I won't be eating like that much longer, or at all, actually, I should say. I'm actually going with the vertical diet. I'm going to stick to it to a T. Why the vertical diet? Because it's probably the second easiest diet I've ever done. First being carnivore diet, because you have nothing but meat to eat, which is pretty easy, but can be pretty tiresome And if you guys heard on the podcast, it kind of jacks up my stomach after just consuming just meat. So yeah, after today, I'm probably not going to consume any more cheat meals or anything off the diet plan. And with the vertical diet, it's going to be pretty easy. So for the rest of today, we're actually just going to kind of relax. I got no training planned. I did hit the treadmill this morning for a pretty easy 20-minute hike. And then we'll get back after it tomorrow with a speed bench day. Yo, what's up? So one of the, I guess, measurements I wanted to take when I thought of doing this whole thing was I actually wanted to get blood work done. And that's what I'm about to go do right now. I ate early, so I started fasting fairly early. I'm already about 14 hours into a fast. They only requested 12 hours, so I figured I wanted to overachieve just a little bit. But yeah, I think just because I hate needles so much, I woke up with a pretty bad headache, and I'm pretty nervous right now. I don't know exactly how much blood they're going to take out of me, but I'm running a ridiculous amount of tests on myself. I have 2 pages worth of lab orders. And by the way, I hit up my actual doctor, and it's such a pain in the ass to try to get any kind of blood work done. They kind of only want to do work on you if you're sick. It's pretty annoying. So I had to go through a third-party company, so that way I can just be like, hey, I want these labs done. Can you do them? Cool, thanks. Let's go get it done. I did, it was a couple of days of back and forth with my doctor to get nowhere, and then all of a sudden I go through a third party and I get it done within about an hour. So I did all this yesterday, I set it all up, and then now I'm doing it the very next morning. Pretty crazy. I hope I don't pass out. We'll see what happens, but yeah. Okay, so I survived that. I'm not gonna lie, dude, I hate needles, but the phlebotomist, is that what they're called? Super nice. I was telling her like what was happening right now. So I asked if I could film. Policy said no, which is fine. But she looked at my arm and she was like, oh, let's see if you have any veins. Oh, you got some good veins. I'm like, sick, thanks. So I got this really cool, awesome bandage that I'm gonna wear with pride today. Like a battle scar, right? But yeah, so now that that's done, on with the rest of my day. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to make this docuseries is because of all the access I have to some of the coolest people on the planet, including the guy that made the documentary that essentially changed my life. Yeah.
Like, I'm about to dive into this.
So basically what I wanted to ask you is, so before this ship can even set sail, I want to make sure it doesn't sink.
Yeah.
You know, you've made some tremendous documentaries, so you know what it takes to document something, not only for it to make sense, for it to be interesting, but also to keep you, the filmmaker, safe.
Yeah.
When you guys did Bigger, Stronger, Faster, you guys cracked open a whole new world to the vast majority of people that had never seen that. When I think about that, I think, holy shit, Mark is so open about steroid use, something that's illegal. Did you guys worry at all about, like, holy shit, the FBI is going to come knocking on my door because I'm talking about something illegal?
We worried about it, but we worked with some of the best producers in the business. When I did Bigger, Stronger, Faster, we worked with Kurt Engfer, who was a producer on Bowling for Columbine and Fahrenheit 9/11, who had to sit in his editing room with attorneys. And they would tell him, like, no, you can't put that in there because President Bush didn't say that like this, he meant this, or you know, and that's wrong or whatever. And they would have to, like, literally pull stuff out.
Yeah.
So that was the very first thing that we checked. Like, are we going to go to jail for making a movie about something that's, you know, illegal?
Yeah.
And what we heard from our attorneys, who were the same attorneys that worked on Fahrenheit 9/11 and Bowling for Columbine, is that if you're talking about something that's illegal on camera, like SARMs, right, or steroids or something like that, you can say whatever you want. You could say, I just bought 500 tons of SARMs, you know? And nobody can hold anything against you that you say on video right? For like a documentary or for like a movie purpose. If it's something where like they caught it on video, like you buying SARMs or something like that, like, and then the police intercepted it, they could use that. But it like all depends on like how they got the video too. Like it's got to be obtained through like a normal legal way. But if they searched your house and they found a videotape and it had a confession of you or whatever, like basically if you were in trouble for something else, you know, and they came to your house and then they found this videotape and it had all this information about SARMs, you can then get in trouble for it. But even that will just launch an investigation. So like the actual, like whatever you say on camera, they can't hold you to that specific thing. But, you know, you just have to be aware that, first of all, these substances aren't illegal. SARMs are not illegal. So, you know, will the FDA come after you? No, they don't have any power to come after you. Will the FBI come after you? No, they don't have any power to come after you. Nobody can really come after you for SARMs, and that's kind of the interesting thing. And that would be like the difference between that and steroids. Now, like, could somebody confiscate a package of yours? Sure, you know, like the post office or something. Could you get arrested for selling them? Absolutely, but don't sell them. You know. But they're actually legal to buy. They're just not legal to buy, to take, to ingest them, which makes no sense.
For human consumption.
They're not for human consumption. So in that scenario, you should be okay legally. You know, what I always say is to film everything. And then if there's some stuff that's a little hairy, you just cut it out in the editing room. Like there's some things that you can say, like if you watch Tony Huge's movie Enhanced, his documentary, there's some things that, you know, I'm sure he wishes he didn't say on camera, but he didn't have control of the editing, you know, because some things just kind of make you look bad. And I don't think necessarily like Tony looked bad at all in any of the scenes, but there's some things that are questionable.
When you were filming Bigger, Stronger, Faster, what was your what was like the end goal? Because what I'm looking at, you know, I initially wanted to do something really small, talk to Mark about it, and he's like, no, you should probably do this. And then you come along, and then Tony comes along. So it's starting to grow quite a bit. So I'm kind of thinking it's like moderately bigger, moderately faster, moderately stronger, right?
Yeah.
Because in regards to, you know, so like we'll say SARMs are like baby steroids, we'll say. So this is like a mini Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
I had a good conversation with Dr. Baker yesterday, and we were talking about, you know, we were talking about all this, how these movements grow so fast, like it can just grow and get really big really quick. My suggestion to you would be like, get as many people involved as you can, but don't go too far out of your way because people flake out and they bomb out and they don't show up and things like that. So make it manageable, like so that it's manageable. Like it's just kind of the people that are close to you, so you have access to them and you can get to them. If you know, if things get, you know, if you have too many people, you're gonna end up with like too many interviews and too many options, and not really know what the story is. So I'd say like keep it focused on you. You know, talk to a couple other people. I think the amount of people you said that you have for something like this seems to be fine. But you don't know, because like, what if you gain 20 pounds on SARMs and then like in 3 months, you're like, well, I want to make it bigger. Well, then you make it bigger at that point. What you do is like, if the SARMs give you really good results, what I would do is keep filming. In a weird way, your goal should be like to not have a goal. Does that make sense?
It does make
sense.
Like
your goal should be like, I am going to go wherever the fuck this takes me. So I would say my advice is like, just let everything happen. Shoot as much as you can. But at the same time, don't shoot too much. I wouldn't shoot too many interviews with people that don't matter. I would stick to the story and stick to the people around you and the people that are important to this process and this journey.
Do you have any experience with SARMs?
I have a lot of experience with SARMs.
Okay.
About 2 months worth. I don't know. That's a lot of experience. Now, I've taken SARMs twice. So I took several different SARMs and non-SARMs.
So in your experience, did you notice any negative side effects?
I can't say that I've noticed any negative side effects except sex drive and libido. Which may be a problem for you with a fiance. And I'll tell you the reason why I think that is. I think they drop your testosterone levels. And from what we know and what we've seen, we see that to be true, that they can drop your testosterone levels. Now, right now, currently, I'm taking, I think 4 SARMs: Ostarine, Ligandrol, Rad 140.
Okay, yeah.
I believe that's a SARM, and I think the other one is S23 maybe, or S. It's called Venom, the one that I have. So those are the 4, and then I'm also taking the GW, which is not a SARM, and NK677, which is like a growth hormone.
Yeah.
Basically, it helps you to increase growth hormone.
So then, how about positives then?
The positives have been the numbers in the gym are absolutely ridiculous. Like my deadlift went from, like I tell everybody, like it went from 405 to like 600 pounds.
Yeah.
In the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But mainly most of that was in the last year, and most of that was when I was using SARMs.
In Bigger, Stronger, Faster, I think it was Louis Simmons who had said something along the lines of, what's going to happen when we find something that's better than steroids? Do you think SARMs is that?
Well, I think we found out what happens when they find out what something's better than steroids. They ban it right away. As soon as SARMs came up on the radar for the FBI and other organizations with 3 letters in their name, they went away. So they basically found something, I think, that's better than steroids, right? And then, or I don't think it's better than steroids. I'd say it's like just as good as. Mm-hmm. And before the genie got out of the bottle, they were like, hey, put the kibosh on this. I think the problem with steroids and SARMs and all this, we really need, what you're doing is important. Like what you're doing is really important. What Tony Huge does all the time is really important. The problem with it is, and what scares me is that, like, I wish I could give you over to my friend that's a doctor and say, hey doc, run all Andrew's labs, run all his panels, and get them to do that for free or cheap so that we can afford it, right?
Yeah.
I think most of the problem is, like, nobody can afford all this stuff.
Correct.
But on that note, one of the things I would recommend doing, which I think you should have to be able to afford in order for anybody watching this to do this, is to do a blood test in the beginning and at the end.
Yeah. So your markers came out just fine.
They were just fine. And, usually anabolic steroids will really negatively affect your LDL. Like, it'll throw it through the roof. Mm-hmm. But it also, like, with that, your triglycerides are usually high. And then, your HDL might be lower and all these other factors.
Yeah.
So, I'm not telling people, like, discount your blood work and don't worry about it if your LDL is high. But what I am saying is that if that's the only thing that's off, then I would probably disregard it. What made you decide to do this? Like, why do you want to take SARMs?
So you
started a diet, right?
Yeah. So
why did you start the diet?
Honestly, I've never really followed a diet like my whole life. It was just like, eat whatever doesn't make me feel like shit. Unfortunately, that was a lot of In-N-Out, a lot of fries, cereals, things that are not going to help me in the gym, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to help my physique. So now, once I started training with Mark, I started kind of going on this really good stream of consistently hitting the gym, consistently hitting the meals at the right time and stuff. But I still haven't been able to gain a lot of weight. Not that weight is the marker of being jacked, right? But I think my physique has definitely gotten better, but it's not quite amazing, or it's nothing. Nothing.
You look a lot different, but that's also because you're living in your own body. So, like, when I saw you, I haven't seen you in a month, and I came back up here, I'm like, you're getting jacked, and you're like, really? kind of like looking at your arms, like, yeah, dude, like, you look good. So it's like, I think that that's always a thing, is like, we always think we're not getting
So when it comes to SARMs, I mean, I'm about to be 34 years old. Not saying I'm like over the hill or anything, but I've been skinny my whole life. Had I been, let's say, started training at 17 and I'm now 24, I don't think that's the right time to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of had this body type my whole life. I don't really think anything else is going to change much.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to, like, adding something in, I'm afraid of needles. So injecting anything of what's proven, right? That's always
so already argument. SARMs are better than steroids for you. They're already better because they're not. It's something that might be able to help you, not really dangerous, and you don't have to inject it.
Yeah.
So it's already better.
Yeah, and then the whole reason for documenting everything is I can't think of anyone who's actually gone from, for sure, 100% natural athlete to getting on just SARMs. at least.
Yeah, I know it's hard to tell because everybody I know has done steroids before. Like I've done steroids before. You can't use me as an example.
Yeah.
I did them I did them a while ago, and I haven't taken anything like in quite a while. But when I was doing them, like I feel like, yeah, it's disingenuous to be like, yeah, this is all I ever took.
Yeah.
It's not all you ever took. You'd taken steroids before,
Yeah. So, and also just kind of attaching my name to Super Training, to Mark, to you guys, like it adds some legitimacy, right?
Yeah.
And
hopefully,
no one's going to look at me in the before pictures and videos and be like, I don't know, he might have been on something.
Yeah.
No one's going to say that.
But they might look at Mark or I and be like, oh, they were totally on something.
Obviously, they got some carryover from steroids. But with me, that's not there.
Plus, like, for our family, genetics, you look at Mark and I, and it's like, genetically, we're thick kind of dudes. Like, we're not little, skinny guys. Like, none of us were ever skinny.
Yeah. And
Nobody in my family ever got accused of being skinny.
And I've been that skinny guy my whole life. So it's like, okay, like, I'm about to, mid-30s now. Let's see what can happen if I introduce some things that I definitely would not normally do. And so thus this whole power project came to be.